this corner we have our, I think they're Thai chilies. They start off as a green, black, and then later they go into red. What I do is I just check for when they're ripe, and then I gather a big handful, and then I start the drying process. You can see right here, this is end of season, but there's still many more to come. I just picked a handful of peppers and I had them out to dry for the last few days. Normally, I collect a whole bowl worth. And once they're dry, about to this point, completely shriveled, crunchy, at that point I put them in the food processor, and then I end up with a container's worth. Now this goes into food obviously, but today we're going to be using it in some pain relief. This is what I'm going to use to make my pain relief balm. Basically I'm going to use some sort of an oil base. I'm using coconut oil. Some people mix wax with oil, I think because it makes it a little bit like a thicker balm, but that's just too much work for me. So I'm using coconut oil, I'm using cinnamon, and I'm using my ground Thai chilies. You can also do something different, and that would be mixing your oil with essential oils. So a good variety might be mixing some peppermint or tea tree, which is known to help with pain, but you always need to have something for scent. So this combo might have lavender, whereas my food grade version has cinnamon to help with the scent. You can either mix them cold, or with this recipe, I suggest you heat it up. And I'll show you. Small pot, I put my ingredients, and I'm just gonna put it on a lower flame, medium to low. And the reason why I'm doing this is the first time I did it, I just did it cold. And it worked, and it was great. But what ended up happening was I had bits of chili pepper on my body, and also the cinnamon feels a little bit gritty. So it's not the best sensation when you put it on. When it stays on, it's not a big deal. So you just mix them together. This will bring the capsaicin out of the pepper. And you want to be careful not to heat it too high, just because the pepper fumes might be a little overwhelming. Once you heat it, in a way, I guess you could say it's a flavored oil, for lack of better words. You can then strain it, and once you strain it, you'll get out all of the grit of the cinnamon, and you'll also get out the chili pepper flakes, and that way it'll just be a little cleaner on your body, and you won't have, you know, unintended contact with chili pepper onto other parts of your body, basically. I just strain it through a coffee filter or a cheesecloth, and it works. So as you can see, I just did very little. I am just looking at doing a couple uses worth at this moment. So keep stirring. Don't let it burn, just for a little bit, let it get melted, and this is enough to turn off the flame. And when you're done, you can strain it through a coffee filter and get all the bits out. I didn't have a coffee filter at home, so what I ended up using is just a napkin, and I put it inside a jar, and now I'm going to pour the chili pepper, cinnamon, and coconut oil into the napkin. It'll serve the same purpose. They're both made out of paper. They're both extremely thin. You know, sometimes you just don't have the item. Improvise. You don't have to go out and buy all these things just because that's how somebody's video was. If you don't have the Thai chili, well, you know what? Use a jalapeno. Use something else. It's the capsaicin that we're after. If you don't have the coconut oil, you can use any other oil, I suppose. It's just really something that's safe for your skin and can help you smooth on for the pain. So you can see here I'm just squeezing it in. You can just let it sit if you have patience as well. I didn't make too much. As you could see, my jar is a little too big. What I might end up doing is maybe I'll wash out my old Tiger Balm jar and then just put this in there instead. That might be a better use. This is my favorite pain relief balm. I just love that burning sensation. I don't know, makes the pain go away. And then in the summertime, I tend to go towards more of a cooling sensation. There you go. Oops, looks like something fell in there. Well, I will scoop that out, but once that cools, it will solidify, and that's it. Chili, cinnamon, and oil. Easy, cheap, and it'll last a long time. Even though it doesn't look like much, it'll last a long time. I hope you learned something, and I hope you stay well and healthy. Take care.